Barakatha Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rakakadash. Special thanks to Great Millstone. Double honors to the chief apostles, bishops, and elders who rule and teach well. Sincerely. 1 Timothy 5:17, as they are worthy of double honors. Salutation and blessings to the Akim and Aqua abroad. That's you true Israelites, you so-called Latinos, Negroes, and Native Indians who've been scattered throughout the four corners of the earth through two different dispersions, 722 BC and roughly 70 AD. 722 BC, the Northern Kingdom, and 70 AD, the Southern Kingdom. Shalom unto you true Israelites, so-called Latinos, Negroes, and Native Indians, which are no more than bywords that have been put on us by our oppressors, our captors, as we've been held captive through the will of the Father, through his punishment and chastisement, through 6 different captivities over here in Mystery Babylon the Great, aka America, Mystery Babylon, Revelation 17 verse 5, over here in our 7th and final captivity, as our great King and High Priest Yahushai, along with the holy angels, Matthew 24:30 and 31, are going to gather his elected saints and then bring havoc, chaos, and turmoil and great punishment like could never be imagined upon 2/3 of you true Israelites you see there on the screen, along with all heathen and pagan nations, namely Esau, Edom, the Edomites, the nation of Edom, the so-called white man upon the earth, who has been given the earth at this time, Job 9:24, as the earth has been given unto his hand and is currently being used as the Father's sword. Psalm 17 verse 13. Let's get straight into the word, O Israel. If I was going to put a title on this lesson or message today, I would title it, With All My Heart, I Need to Understand Who's in Charge. These are critical times now out across the earth. Devastation and disaster are popping off everywhere. And you need to ask yourself, with all my heart, who's in charge? Understanding that decision making is warfare. Either you're going to decide to submit to the precepts, ordinances, commands, statutes, and stipulations of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Walrakah Kadash, or you're going to end up paying the price in the end. You understand? You might as well submit, you righteous 1/3, the elect of the Lord, and come under the authority of that great and all-powerful name, that great being spoken of in Acts 17, verse 28 In him we live, move, and have our being. Romans 6, 16 and 17. This whole thing is based upon the prophetical pulse of these scriptures. And so we got to accept and align our spirits with that testimony of Yahushua, Revelations 19, verse 10, which is the spirit of prophecy. Romans 6, 16 and 17. Know ye not that to whom ye yield yourselves servants to obey, his servants ye are to whom ye obey, whether of sin unto death, or of obedience unto righteousness. But Yahweh Bahashem, Yahushai Bahashem Rekah Kadash, be thanked that ye were the servants of sin, that ye have obeyed from the heart that form of doctrine which was delivered you. That form of doctrine. Either you're going to adhere to the 100% truths of the scriptures, or in the end you're going to be ass out. Remember, decision making is warfare. Asking yourself, who's in charge? Who tells me how to live? Who shows me where to go? Whatever is in my heart is what is going on in my life. If we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit. Galatians 5:25. Understanding that we need to be led by the Spirit. For if we are led by the Spirit, we are not under the law. Understanding that that fleshly man, that flesh that your spirit abides in, that fleshly man is the flunky. When you let the flesh rule, a flunky rules your life. So we need to understand these three things here. The spirit, which is the ruling part. The soul interprets, and the body obeys. Remembering that if you follow the flesh, you're following a funky. It's a knowledge. It's an understanding. The word says to let wisdom and knowledge be the stability of your times. Isaiah 33 verse 6. And the strength of your salvation. And the fear of the Most High is your treasure. But it's also an understanding. The word also says in Proverbs 4 verse 7, wisdom is the principal thing, yet in all that getting, get understanding. Understanding that if your spirit is empty, you're dead. That's Revelations 11 verse 8 all day. Those dead bodies you see sprawled out across the earth, you so-called Latinos, Negroes, and Native Indians. Those without the understanding, the wisdom and knowledge that the Lord imparts upon his elected saints. Understanding that whoever you yield yourself to is the boss. Remember, I brought up early in this lesson, who tells me how to live? Who shows me where to go? Ask yourself, is it that spirit of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Kadash, that's telling you how to live? Or is it that fleshly man, the flunky? And who shows you where to go? Is it that spirit of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Kadash, leading you in paths of righteousness for his name's sake? Or are you following that flunky? Remember, it's a knowledge. It's an understanding. Whoever you yield yourself to is the boss. Either you serve Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Kadash, the ancient Hebrew name for the Heavenly Father, His beloved Son, and the Holy Spirit. Either you serve that great entity, that great power, that unimaginable supernatural force, that power that's coming back to deliver few and destroy the rest with fire. Either you serve Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Kadash, or you serve the devil, Esau, Edom, the wicked ruling the earth today. Malachi 1 through 4. That wicked devil, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. So either you're pleasing Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Kadash, or, like I put on a small comment I made to Apostle Gabar, who was worthy of double honors of great millstone, in his comments section, that I can't stand that coon-ass sandbow nigger out there on the earth trying to please that crooked devil, the so-called white man, Esau, Edom. It's impossible to serve two masters. The word says you'll either obey the one and hate the other. And I don't want to misquote that verse, so let me keep on with this lesson. The point is that submission is a voluntary thing. You have to submit to that higher authority of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Kadash, who has everything planned out perfectly in this last day and age we're living in. Down to that last millisecond, where the righteous 1/3 are going to scarcely be saved. Might as well pull that out. 1 Peter 4 verse 17 and 18. This thing is not a game. I thank the Lord daily for his unspeakable gift. 2 Corinthians 9:15. 1 Peter 4, 17 and 18. For the time has come that judgment must begin at the house of the Most High. And if it first begin at us, what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Kadash? Verse 18, 1 Peter chapter 4. And if the righteous scarcely be saved, where shall the ungodly and the sinner appear? Going to be swimming around in that lake of fire. It's going to be too late. Ezekiel 3:17. The hopeful elect are out there warning you true Israelites that this impending danger and judgment is imminent. It's close by, hanging right over our heads. We can't be beguiled, Colossians 2 verse 8, and misled by the rudiments of this earth and this world, following after Esau Edom, the so-called white man, and his bread and circus acts, when instead we should be following Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Wa Rakah Kadash, wholeheartedly. Now when we submit to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Kadash, we come under the authority of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Kadash. And coming under the Most High's authority means that we've made a binding commitment. We've submitted ourselves. Submission. We volunteered to come under that authority. If ye be led of the Lord, then you're going to be under that authority of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Kadash, being led of the Lord. Romans 6:16. Know ye not that to whom ye yield yourselves servants to obey, his servants ye are to whom ye obey, whether of sin unto death? There's a way that seems right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death, or of obedience unto righteousness. So we need to be led of the Lord. You are led by the Lord when you obey the Lord. And the choice is yours. You have to accept Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Wa Rakah Kadash's authority in all decisions. Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Kadash is boss. The Bible is true. Esau is the great deceiver. Big time. Revelations 20, verse 3. As he's been loosed for a little season to go out and deceive the earth. Very deceptive. Except for the fact that Ezekiel 37:15 and 16 have came to pass, and that northern and southern kingdom that I described at the beginning of this lesson, they've now come together. The two sticks have joined together, and this truth that wasn't always being taught out across the earth. But thanks be to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Kadash, for Abba Bivens, as well as all of the other apostles and bishops and elders on down to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who are currently alive today, as the spirit of the prophets are subject to the prophets. 1 Corinthians 14:32. Thankful for those great ambassadors of this good news, of that deceptive spirit that's out there across the earth, ruling and in complete dominion, trying to deceive the elect of the Lord, bringing this whole thing to a catastrophic end. He's came up upon a brick wall, and this devil is hot, knowing that he has but a short time. His only way out of this thing is to try to force upon the whole earth that charagma, that mark, that insertion of the mark of the beast, to bring his one world ruling order into full order. But understand that Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Kadash, and that great name of Yahweh Shai is the boss. He gives the commands. You can't allow the flesh to dictate, along with Esau's system out here. Like I said earlier, if we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit. It has everything to do with your decisional process, keeping that flesh under your feet and in subjection, casting down every vain imagination that exalts itself against the image of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Kadash, 2 Corinthians 10:5. As the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, they're not physical, they're not fleshly. The weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but spiritual. They're mighty to the breaking down of every stronghold that exalts and it lifts itself against the image or knowledge of Yahweh, Bahashem Rakah Kadash. Now Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, will tell you things that the flesh will not want to agree with. But if you don't accept Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem's authority, he's not the Lord of your life. And unfortunately, there's a lot of times where we don't accept Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Rakah Kadash's authority. And if Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai is in charge, you'll quiet the flesh. And you'll quiet your spirit. It's about decisions. You have to accept Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Rakah Kadash's authority. Authority has to be accepted. When the devil's in charge, he's given the orders. And he's a raving, wild, crazy, insane lunatic. All you got to do is look at our current government. You'll understand exactly what I just said. So instead, we need to look unto the hills from whence cometh our help and magnify that great name of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Kadash. You true Israelites, you hopeful elect, as this is truly about spiritual warfare. Kal Halel Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Kadash. Special thanks to the chief apostle of Great Millstone. Double honors to all the other apostles, bishops, and elders who rule and teach well. Salutation to the Yakim and Aqua abroad. Shalom, O Israel, the water.